Well, good morning, YouTube. All right, guys, today is setup day, and got kind of a jump start. Yesterday, Talon and Chip were hanging around, and they decided they didn't want to wait till today to start setting up. Katie and I were out running a couple errands, and they decided to get the trailer unloaded, get all the equipment out, get all the shelves out. So today, Amanda and Katie are going to stock their shelves. Talon and I will finish up a little bit over there. Chip may be here at some point, I don't know, but they may go for a ride since they did most of their work yesterday. And I've got some much needed work to do on my bike before we open. All right, guys, one of the things I do when set up, I show you different things here and there. This is something I didn't really talk about. You guys know I have batteries, so we set the batteries up. But what I like to do is, they come boxed like this, and then these boxes, I think there's 4 of them in a case that come in a much bigger box. But obviously that doesn't display well, so I like to take them out of the box. I'll screw the terminals in and tighten them down, that way they don't get lost because they come in a little baggy. I'll put the handle on them, and then I can set them over here on the display rack, and everything looks a lot nicer and neater. And then what I do is I'll pull out the charger, hook it up, and let them all top charge. That way if a customer comes in and wants to buy one, it is 100% top charge. It hasn't been sitting on a shelf for a couple weeks. Now, Banshee top charges them before they send them to me. But like these, we got delivered in Myrtle. So Myrtle was 10 days long, and then we went home for a couple of weeks and we drove out here. So potentially these could be about a month out of being top charged. And that's why I like to top charge them again at every rally, just to make sure they're at their peak. With the lead acid battery, that's very important. They don't like to hold the charge sitting on a shelf like the lithiums do. Those I don't have to worry about as much. I still top charge them every once in a while, but they will hold a top charge much longer than the lead acid will. Yep.
We're here, Adam. It was a pleasure meeting you. It's a dream come true, man. Big fan and rock and roll, man. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Yep, go for it. Oh, you want to do it that side? Hang on. All right, so now I got the charger all hooked up to those. And once those 5 are done top charging, I will move the charge leads to the next set of 5 and the next set of 5 until they are all 100% top charged. Now I can start building my love jug display now that all the cabinets are back in their place. So I have to do the batteries before I do the love jugs because the batteries are stored in the compartment behind these display cabinets. So to open those doors, I've got to have this stuff out of the way. So I do that first, get everything out of those cabinets that we need, and then I can close those cabinet doors, move the display cases back over, and then we'll set up the love jugs. Now, all these here are kind of bolted on, so they stay that way when they're packed up, but this one does not. The displays are inside the cabinet, as well as the mat and so on and so forth, so it just takes a few minutes to set that up.
And if we had an extra box that maybe had one hiding or not.
So Banshee provides us with these koozies that we give away to a lot of our customers, and I use those to cover up the fan housings on the Mighty Mites because they just fit into the little pocket just perfect. And then I wrap them up in a t-shirt just to protect everything while they're in the drawers and the trailer's going down the road. This stuff bounces around. Sometimes we still end up with a scratch or so on them, but for the most part it keeps them protected. And just like that, it's done pretty quick and easy. Now I'm thinking to move to setting up the Let's Roll Lounge. That's a relatively simple, easy up, pop up kind of thing. And because we do get some winds here, I'm gonna bolt it down to the ground. So I'll take 4 bolts, drill a hole, and I use lag bolts for that. All right, guys, the Let's Roll Lounge is up and out. The girls are making really good progress getting their stuff done. Over here, a lot of the shelves are full, signs are up, stuff like that. So I gotta throw some flags up top, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and start working on my bike now while the girls finish this stuff up. It's only about noon, so still pretty early today. All right, guys, took a minute for a lunch break, and now Talon is working on his bike. We had a problem with a short circuit on here, blowing a fuse. We worked on it some in Panama, and really didn't get it all figured out. And we think we may have got it figured out now. So Talon's putting it back together, leaving the radio on, so that as he tidies up the wires, make sure that nothing trips that fuse again. Got my bike up behind me. The big issue we've got going on today with my bike is my clutch has been slipping. Now, it actually started slipping at the Myrtle Beach show last fall in 2023 is when I first noticed it. So I've just been babying it ever since. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull it all apart. I found another clutch pack at home that hopefully will fit this. Pretty sure it will fit this if it's labeled properly. And so we're gonna see if we can't make it not slip. All right, guys, so I got the outer primary cover off and just doing a visual inspection, and so far everything looks pretty good. Although I'm looking at the clutch pack thickness, and it does look like I'm setting in a little bit from the outer edge of that basket. So chances are we just worn that friction material down. We're gonna need to put some new friction plates in there, and I'll just go ahead and put new steel plates in as well. Now, when I take it apart, guys, look, I laid my screws out in an order that they came out in, and in this particular bike, it doesn't really matter because all of the outer primary screws are the same, but there are some models where there's short screws and long screws, really long screws, medium screws. So, I mean, I can figure out where they go, but if you're a novice trying this for the first time, just being well organized and laying those fasteners out the way that you took them out really makes things go back together a little easier. All right, guys, and before we go any further in this, I'd like to invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I know I don't say it very often, but it really helps us grow if you hit that like button, if you hit the subscribe, and leave a comment down below. For those of you that are wondering, we are set up at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway down in Loudon. So we're about 15 or 20 miles south of the town of Laconia, right in the front vendor lot as you come in. You can't miss us when you get here. But one thing I want to reiterate is in past years, we talked about how this rally financially wasn't one of our best rallies. We love doing this rally, but financially it's always been challenging because our expenses are higher than at most of our other rallies to get here, and the sales just aren't there. So we're really relying on you to come out and support us. If you're watching this video and you need your motorcycle serviced, come out to the Speedway and have us do it. We have to be able to justify coming out here, and you know, without sales, we can't do that. This year will be especially hard. Last year was the 100th anniversary, so we're not expecting this year to be as good as last year, but it's got to be at least better than the year before that. Otherwise, if we don't see the continued growth, we can't keep spending the money to come out here if there's no profit involved. So guys, if you want us to keep coming to the Laconia rally, no pressure, but you got to come out and you got to support us, as well as supporting all the other vendors that are out here, so that we can all continue doing what we do. Well, guys, I'm a little bit surprised actually. On a visual inspection, taking everything apart, it doesn't look half bad. There isn't the wear on here that I expected there to be. There's no real heat marks on the steel plates. Like I said, the clutch has been slipping since last fall. Last September is when I first noticed it. So I've just been babying it since then, trying to not really run it hard. But when I'm really hard on the throttle, I would still get some slippage. So I just expected this to look a little bit worse than it does. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure my stack thickness and see whether it's in spec or not, and we'll go from there. All right, so I wasn't able to find a specification for the total pack thickness, but I found that it said that if you measure any single friction plate and it measures any less than 143 thousandths of an inch thick, then to just replace the whole thing. So I went over to Cycle Solutions and used their caliber only because mine is battery operated and the battery was dead, and the actual visual increments on it aren't detailed enough to get that good of a measurement. So I went over there and I measured one plate, and I think it came out to like 138 thousandths with their caliper. So I just said, okay, I need a new clutch pack. Well, I have a used clutch pack here, and so I came back here, and when I set my caliper down, I looked, and all of a sudden it was on. So somehow the battery magically woke itself back up. So I went through and measured every single one, and they were all like 149 to 150, right? So that's all well within spec. So I'm a little puzzled on that. And then I pulled out this other used clutch pack that I have, and they're all 151 to 151.5. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and put that other pack in there, because that'll give me an extra, I don't know, 10 thousandths of thickness throughout the entire pack. Maybe that'll make all the difference. I don't know. Everything else looks good. And now with the new used clutch pack in, you can see my last friction plate is coming out just flush with the basket where the other one was setting in just a little bit. So hopefully this will fix the problem. Yeah, and ideally, a new clutch would be the answer here. Nobody here has one. Nobody locally has one at the moment, and I've got to get this back together because we need this bike for transportation. So I can always order another clutch any other time and put it in, but for right now, this one looks like it's going to work. Only one way to find out. So we're gonna finish putting it back together and give it a test drive. All right, guys, I did a terrible job of recording the rest of it, but I've got the primary all back together. Everything's adjusted right. I even rode it through the parking lot. Everything feels good. We're getting ready to go do a road test because Katie and I actually went and bought new helmets yesterday, and the sales rep that sold it to us was really nice enough to install the Bluetooth thingies and whatnot in there so that we didn't have to mess with it. So we get to go get them, but it's now 5:30 and they close at 6, so we got to hurry and get there. Other thing I did is I installed a new temperature sensor. You guys know I had the temperature sensor sitting here before. I have moved it up to here, and it's a brand new one. And it actually has the ability to read both cylinders. Unfortunately, not at the same exact time. I have to toggle between them, but at least now I can monitor both instead of just the one for demonstration purposes. And I think it looks cleaner up there than just dangling on my tank. All right, let's get going to the dealership. The dealership's pretty cool. We'll do a little filming while we're there. All right, guys, so we are here at Freedom Cycle. Now, it's a little dark in here because they're actually closed. We got here about 10 minutes before closing, and they're trying to help us get our helmets paired up and everything like that. So now that Katie's riding with me a lot, we wanted a communication system so we can stay in touch. But this dealership is cool. Yamaha, KTM, Kawasaki, Honda, Suzuki, Can-Am, Ducati, Royal Enfield. I feel like I'm missing something.
Those your Harleys up front? How far are we going to see driving back to Boston?
All right, guys, and check out this 1978 GS 1000, guys. This brings me back to my past. This is the stuff I used to work on when I first got into the industry. Different brands. I haven't counted that many myself, but they said it's quite the challenge to keep up with. But this place is just really, really cool. As you can see, even mowers and generators, guys. They got a lot of stuff here. It's pretty cool. Oh, I see Arctic Cat on the sign as well. I didn't see them inside. All right, guys, that's a closing down the dealership. We've got the headsets to pair to both of our phones so we can listen to music and make phone calls, but we haven't figured out how to pair the two headsets together so that Katie and I communicate without using our phones. So we're going to dinner here at the Red Blazer. It was recommended by the people at the dealership. They say it's really good, so we're going to give it a try. We've never been here before, and I'm bringing everything in with me so we can try to figure this pairing thing out while we're eating. Well, guys, we made it back out here to the track. Dinner at the Red Blazer was actually pretty darn good. I had a steak. Katie and Talon both had Reubens. I'll be honest, I wished I would have got the Reuben. The Reuben was fantastic. Probably not as good as Rosenfeld's in Ocean City, but it was good. And the steak wasn't as good. I mean, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't as good as I hoped it would be. But anyway, we're back over here at the track. We are going to probably take showers and settle down for the night, edit this video. So at this point, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Until the next time I see you.
Keep those engines running.
Yeah, what she said over there. Good night, guys. Hey guys, and just to throw in this little closing note on the road trip to the dealership, which was about 15 miles or so there and then another 15 miles or so back, the clutch worked fantastic.